right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A warm Wednesday gives way to a chilly start to the weekend. When and where showers are most likely as we head toward a brief cool down.
Stolen guns fired into the air.
When you have 13-year-olds with assault rifles, how is that going to work?
Tonight, a community called to action after the arrest of 4 teens. Tonight, a tragic update. We now know a house fire that killed a mom and her 4 children was intentionally set.
Tonight, we're getting some answers that are raising more questions. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Investigators believe Bernadine Prusner set the fire intentionally early Monday morning at the family's home in Ferguson. Robert Townsend is live in Ferguson tonight with the gut-wrenching reaction from city leaders and the fathers of the children. Robert.
Mike, it's been an extremely tough time for so many people here in Ferguson, and nobody wanted to hear the heart-wrenching update on what happened to that family.
I am so very sorry for the heartache she was feeling. I'm so very sorry for the children. I'm so very, very sorry for the parents.
You could see the heartbreak and sadness in Councilwoman Linda Livka's eyes. She's just one of many in Ferguson and all around the St. Louis region, still feeling the pain after hearing about Monday's house fire that killed Bernadine "Birdie" Prusner and her 4 children. Fire investigators now say the 39-year-old mom intentionally set the fire, which started on the mattress. The Ferguson mom was a former model, a highly respected author, and assistant professor who taught early childhood education at Lewis and Clark Community College.
For somebody to have that much outreach and that much connection with humanity all around her, to feel that alone, we need to do better.
St. Louis County Police say she left a note stating intentions to take her life and the lives of her children. 2-year-old Millie, 6-year-old Jackson, and her 9-year-old twin daughters, Ellie and Ivy.
It has ripples throughout the community.
Dr. Bart Andrews is Chief Clinical Officer at Behavioral Health Response. Among other things, he says before such a tragedy occurs, people can try to keep an eye out for possible warning signs.
Have something they used to do they're not doing anymore? Are they talking about being depressed? Are they talking in terms of finality?
Jason Spader, the father of Prusner's 2 youngest children, released a statement on behalf of himself and the father of the other children. Spader says, quote, "As dads, right now we have to focus on honoring the 4 beautiful lives, and we plan to do that together. Our thanks go out to the community, people we know, and many we have never even met who have shown us incredible amounts of support. We will continue to need it." Now, Ferguson Police Chief Troy Doyle released a statement that reads in part, "This moment of sorrow caused us to band together like never before." Doyle says it's time to lean on one another, to listen with open hearts, and to offer a shoulder or an ear to those in need. We're live tonight in Ferguson. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
Within the hour, we received a statement from the family through Birdie Prusner's attorney. They believe she was troubled by ongoing issues in family court.
They say, quote, "Birdie lived for her children and focused only on their happiness. Birdie got to an awful place, one that resulted in tragic consequences." Their statement goes on to say, "We will never get our daughter back. We will never see our grandchildren again. But if this tragedy could direct people to seek help in times of anguish and crisis, then perhaps Birdie's life and not her death will stand for something."
If you or someone you know is struggling, help is available. You can call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline 24/7, the number 988. Let's talk about our weather now. A mild February night across St. Louis after temperatures reach into the 70s today.
Rain could move in overnight, and some of you may be jolted by thunder. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking the storm chances in his Weather First forecast.
And you know, we were talking about this throughout the afternoon into the evening, that the storm chances overall have been decreasing somewhat with this weather system as the instability is eluding the bi-state area, at least for now. We're quiet in St. Louis. We do have the clouds, but we're still incredibly mild for this time of year. Temperatures still in the 60s. Check the radar, especially looking to the south. Not really finding anything here of any consequence. Looks like we've seen some birds on the radar, maybe even insects. Yeah, it's been warm enough today. We're still in the 60s with that south breeze blowing in some warmer and slightly more humid air. Focus is to our north for the thunderstorms here over the next few hours, well to the north. And what comes out of the Ozarks looks to stay to our south. So maybe a few showers before daybreak, but most are going to see limited rain out of this entire system. The chance for rain tomorrow still scattered across the area. We'll time that out in a few minutes with Futurecast. But dry weather's on the way this weekend, and you just won't believe the roller coaster ride we'll be on when it comes to temperatures as we head into the final few days of February. We'll see in a few minutes.
What is these? Is that shit?
New information tonight on that chaotic scene in Berkeley last night. A man shot by police is now charged in connection to a carjacking and chase. 21-year-old Larry Lucas faces several charges, including first-degree robbery and resisting arrest. Police used spike strips to stop a stolen car when 3 people got out and ran off. According to court documents, officers fired shots at Lucas after he pointed a gun at them. He was shot in the leg. 3 detectives are now on administrative leave. A 15-year-old and 23-year-old were also arrested. Tonight, community leaders are calling for action a day after St. Louis police say a group of teenagers were firing stolen guns into the air.
Now, 4 of those teens and 2 adults are charged with stealing guns and discharging them within city limits. Brent Solomon is just back from catching up with those working on in our area to prevent these kinds of crimes. Brent?
That's right, Kelly and Mike. Tonight I learned about 2 initiatives now underway. One, a proposed city law to prevent firing into the air, and a community collaboration to focus on where crimes are happening and why. Our cameras rolling as police flood Ferris Avenue near MacArthur Avenue in North City Tuesday evening. There, a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old, and 2 13-year-olds arrested for firing shots into the air in front of a home.
And they were all stolen, Brett.
Alderwoman Pamela Boyd is outraged. She represents that area.
Why is it people think this is okay? This is not the norm for our city.
Next week, the city's Public Safety Committee will hear a proposal she drafted to step up penalties for people who shoot guns into the air.
Bullets, it doesn't matter where they go. When they go up, you don't know where they're going.
This as another group, the Public Safety Collaborative, is gathering neighbors to lead the conversation on reducing crime.
How many young people are carrying guns because they friends and they homeboys and they cousins and they family members were shot and killed, and they feel as if though I gotta carry a gun because I don't want that to happen to me. It's a lot of trauma.
By identifying places crimes are happening, the group hopes to recommend resources city leaders can enact.
It can come down simply to better lighting on your street. It can even come down to mental health resources. How many young people are carrying guns because they feel as if though they got beef or they got drama with somebody else and they need it for protection.
Neighbors and lawmakers getting to work to take back their neighborhoods.
I have 85% seniors in my community, and so I don't want my seniors have to sleep on the ground because they don't know if somebody's going to get in a mood and want to shoot their gun off.
Police are still looking for others believed to be with that group last night. Meantime, the Public Safety Collaborative is inviting those who want to be part of the solution to join them tomorrow at 1 o'clock for a brainstorming session. That's at the Julia Davis Library on National Bridge.
New tonight at 10, a driver has been charged in a hit-and-run crash that killed a woman on Halls Ferry Road late last night, and police say she was driving on a suspended license. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski is live in St. Louis County, where police are seeing a disturbing trend on pedestrian safety. Laura?
Kelly, this is the 4th person who's been hit and killed while walking across the street in St. Louis County just this month. And officials and advocates say something has to change. St. Louis County police say a woman was crossing Halls Ferry Road around 11:30 Tuesday night when she was hit by a car. She was rushed to the hospital where she died. Police say the driver, Alexandria Coleman, left the scene but came back later. 2 men and 1 other woman were hit and killed while crossing St. Louis County roads earlier this month. County Councilman Ernie Tracus says they have to act now.
It's an issue and a problem that needs to be addressed.
Tracus says at the next county council meeting, he plans to reintroduce his bill he says will keep pedestrians safe.
If there is a sidewalk along a roadway, you're required to be on it. If you have to access a roadway, then if that's the case, whenever possible, it should be within a certain distance of the shoulder.
If passed, police would have the ability to ticket someone for not using the sidewalk or not following the other rules. The bill was passed last year, but vetoed by County Executive Sam Page.
It was a fairly, I think, well-crafted, as I said, completely neutral bill that I think would have addressed the problem, at least in a significant way.
TrailNet policy catalyst Charles Bryson says infrastructure changes and traffic enforcement would make a big difference.
They can quick build situations where they can make that safer, whether they're bump outs, whether they're different signage to let people know the pedestrians have the right of way when they cross into the crosswalk.
And another thing Bryson says is missing is education.
We need to bring driver's ed back so people have a better understanding of their responsibilities with this 2-ton vehicle and what it means to other people.
Police say Coleman is charged with leaving the scene of an accident which resulted in death and driving while her license was revoked. She is being held in jail on a $50,000 cash bond. Reporting live in Clayton, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Federal investigators are now looking into a cyber attack on the Francis Howell School District. District officials confirmed today that malware was used to encrypt some systems. It's unclear who's behind the attack and if any information was compromised. This forced students to learn remotely for the past 2 days. They will return in person tomorrow, even though some internet and phone services in school buildings are still down.
Shopping on a budget 101.
It's a great place for the community to come and support each other.
The college campus store where the entire St. Louis community can shop for free. Holy moly.
It was scary when I came out. I was like, oh, I'm glad I drove before it sank.
A large sinkhole in South City doubles in size overnight. The timeline for repairs.
Rain chances are with us for part of tomorrow, but certainly not all day. We're tracking a big pattern change coming after the weekend that's raising a few eyebrows.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker unveiled his nearly $53 billion budget proposal during his State of the State address today. He is calling for a $500 million investment in quantum computing, $200 million in chips and semiconductor research and development, $250 million on homeless shelters, and $440 million on health care for undocumented migrants over the age of 42, with another $182 million to build shelters for asylum seekers. Republicans question these last 2 line items.
States and cities in the country's interior are not equipped alone to handle the rapid influx of new arrivals that we have seen. The White House and the federal government need to step up.
When we have citizens of Illinois who are making jokes about I'm going to cross the border and walk back in because I'll get better health care, we should stop and pay attention.
Pritzker also promised to permanently eliminate the grocery tax and universal preschool by 2027.
There's a store in St. Louis where everything is free, no strings attached.
While it does center around students, it's actually open to the entire community. Michelle Lee explains in tonight's Making Ends Meet.
It doesn't have an address, but people know it's right on a corner near a campus clock tower.
We have so much stuff.
It's known as Swap STL. It's a free store since 2008 for anyone in the Washington University community.
My professor once came in, it was a whole thing. I was like, oh my God. But you know, it's a great place for the community to come and support each other.
Oh, this is new.
Mm-hmm. All right. Most of the things we get are actually pretty new.
It's a small but mighty corner of WashU, helping staff and students make ends meet while being fashionably sustainable. No questions asked.
I found out about it from my faculty, from my law school, and I came here and it's been really, really nice.
On this day, international student Pries Agundale found a high-end UGG blanket and a lot of clothes.
Yeah, I know, right? I was at Walmart yesterday and it cost a fortune. I couldn't afford it.
From clothes to textbooks and even small appliances, Swap STL is sharing with a purpose. Last year alone, volunteers say it helped keep 3,000 pounds of stuff out of landfills and helped the community save more than $26,000.
This is a shirt that found its way to Swap, I think 2 years ago. I took it and I wore it for I think a year and a half. I kind of outgrew it, my style changed. I donated it back, someone took it then, and it just made its way back to Swap.
And that's why people keep making their way to this little corner of the school.
Tag still on?
Wow.
Oh, that is adorable.
It's a win for business, nonprofit work, and sustainability, all while helping the community make ends meet. Michelle Lee, 5 on your side.
And the store is right off Shepley Drive near the clock tower. There's literally no address. You can follow them on Instagram at SwapSTL.
Tonight, crews are working to repair a massive sinkhole in South St. Louis. The intersection at Blow Street and Idaho Avenue, right off I-55, has been blocked off. City crews responded to the area yesterday for a water main break. By this morning, the sinkhole doubled in size to about 40 feet wide and 25 feet deep. MSD was called in to help determine what happened.
As far as the fault, this area has very old infrastructure, and unfortunately sometimes things break. Whether it was the sewer that first had a collapse and then the water main broke, or the water main that caused the sewer main to break, this is all old infrastructure, and unfortunately this is something that can happen.
We're told repairs could take weeks.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the Weather First forecast, and I know we sound like a broken record about another beautiful day, but there are some changes on the way, right,
There
Scott?
are some changes on the way, but boy, what about that sunset tonight? Isn't that pretty?
Beautiful.
Looking out there into the Chesterfield Valley, high clouds rolling in, so we had some pretty color. Many of you saw during the course of the day, we saw some halos around St. Louis and a lot of smoky smell around the metro area. Our winds have been out of the south today, and it looks like they've been doing some prepared or pre-planned burns down across some of the forest across southern Missouri, and with those southerly winds, that's bringing it back up into our area, but we're not noticing anything in the immediate metro area. Quiet out at Lambert right now. Our temperature this evening, well, that temperature is rather comfortable. Nothing on the radar screen, so no rain right now. Odds are we get through tonight and tomorrow morning's rush hour in St. Louis proper with very little, if any, rainfall. We may not get much at all out of this next system. 63 degrees right now, unusually warm for this time of year, right? Our average high is 48. We were 73 today. 40 was our low. Tomorrow morning, some of us may not be below 50 degrees, especially in town and off to the east and southeast of St. Louis. There may be some spot rain tonight. Odds are there'll be a few little showers drifting by to our south during the late night hours towards daybreak. Most of us are not going to get that. It's mainly high clouds and mid-level clouds that are streaking overhead. The band of showers and thunderstorms more widespread. That'll be farther to the north. We'll watch that area coming here across Kansas. That may actually kick off a couple of little showers closer to the Missouri-Arkansas border as we head towards daybreak. But you know, the last few days, we were targeting this area south of St. Louis for the potential showers and thunderstorms that would be a little more widespread than what we're seeing right now. And odds are it's just going to be pretty scattered here for tomorrow morning as the front actually sides through during the middle part of the day into early tomorrow afternoon. Maybe there's a little more coverage south and southeast of St. Louis. But for much of the day tomorrow, we'll be on the dry side. We'll start to cool it off a little bit going into the weekend. Coldest day is going to be Saturday when we're in the upper 40s to lower 50s. We are back close to 70 degrees by Sunday, and it gets even warmer going into next week. There's a big pattern change happening next week. This is your upper level energy. Ridge starts to build in, warmer temperatures arriving Monday into Tuesday, and then you get the big dip in the jet stream out west. When you have that southwest flow aloft, that sets us up for what we would say is a severe weather potential pattern for some spot, either in the deep south, perhaps into our region. But we don't know yet exactly where the pinpoint spot for rough weather will be as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. We just know that the ingredients starting to show up. We'll see how they come together as we get closer. One thing we can guarantee you, Monday and Tuesday, really warm in St. Louis.
It just seems like a spring-like pattern.
It is, and you get these little bursts of cooler air.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
What a sportscast coming your way. Contreras, Neighbors, Kajimi, Illinois trying to win their 20th, and Incarnate Word trying to keep the win streak alive.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
I think because Mizzou is winless in 2024 and SLU isn't much better, we deserve something in college basketball around here. We have it in the Fighting Illini, older, taller, and more skilled than most teams in America. But conference road games in Power 5 leagues are a dangerous proposition. Illinois at Penn State tonight, and Nicholas Kern from Vashon will throw it down with feeling. The Fighting Illini have one of the fastest players in college basketball, Terrence Shannon Jr., bucket and one. He had 35. Kern, though, was absolutely unstoppable on the block. He had 22 points tonight. Brad Underwood had no answer for Nick. And with 3 seconds to go, Zach Hicks hit 3 free throws. Illinois will miss a shot at the buzzer and storm the court. Illinois loses 90-89.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
Besides finishing in last place, the worst thing the Cardinals did last year was try to blame Wilson Contreras for the pitching woes. As we know, Wilson was not the problem, but could be a solution. Corey Miller has more from Jupiter.
Good evening from Cardinals camp and the Atlantic Ocean. Now, it's no secret that Wilson Contreras' first year in St. Louis did not go quite as scripted. However, his bat did play on the field with 20 bombs and a .264 average. Entering year 2, Contreras says he's more settled and has already made 2023 a thing of the past.
The thing that I learned the most, just control what I can control and be me. Don't change who I am and don't try to be a different person. Just play the way I play and do the things I do. I think everything's built during spring training, especially the chemistry of the whole team, because that's what you're gonna take into the season, and then that's what we've been doing lately. I mean, I think this team is hungry for winning games, to reach again to the playoff, and I think the main focus is to get better, to win games, and that's what has been going on around this camp so far.
As far as other faces behind home plate for 2024, Andrew Kisner is now in Texas. That means long-coveted prospect Ivan Herrera will get a full shot as Contreras' backup for this season. Reporting from spring training, I am Corey Miller, 5 on Your Side Sports.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
They won the victory. Pompeo with a cross. Goal!
Can you imagine this Jose Kojima? He scored that game winner just 4 minutes into his City SC debut. My first sportscast at KSDK 30 years ago was botched. The City Reds spent the first 72 minutes against Houston building momentum, but after the Dynamo tied the game, Coach Bradley Carnell made a series of substitutions, and we saw what happened next.
That's why we decided to make the changes we did. We decided to bring Jose in just to solidify the midfield, which ultimately was a catalyst to get us back and gain that momentum again. So, I don't look at that too dramatically. The boys are trying the right things. We trust them in those moments. We'll look at film, but overall very happy with the performance.
Dan Rolfus and Incarnate Word trying to make it 125 in a row, but John Burroughs could be the second best team in the area, and they wanted this badly. Mariah Douglas with the 3. It was tied after 3 quarters. Then the one-player wrecking ball took over. Nevaeh Cathy, steal, layup. She had 21. The streak lives after a 52-46 win. Really a cool event at Enterprise tonight for kids from North City KIPP schools. For 16 weeks, courtesy of the NHL and the Players Association, kids learn the game and get gear also. Jake Neighbors of the Blues was out there helping to grow and teach the sport.
Having kids that can have this opportunity to be able to dream and cultivate this type of situation within them is wonderful.
I think it's just more about going out and putting a smile on their face and having a good time with them and enjoying the moment.
That is awesome. Imagine if you're a young kid, you've never been exposed to hockey, and you get to play at Enterprise and learn from Jake Neighbors.
You did not botch your first sportscast. I remember it very well. You signed off from Busch Stadium. You said, "Back to you, Mitch." Frank, thanks.
All right, there she blows at the end of an era along the Mississippi River. A new amusement ride could join the wheel and carousel at Union Station. Developers would like to add a wave swing like you see here. The St. Louis Preservation Board must sign off on the plans. Construction could start as early as 2025.
The Gateway Geyser is closing down after nearly 30 years in operation. The nation's tallest water fountain in East St. Louis shoots water 630 feet into the air, matching the height of the Gateway Arch, which is located directly across the Mississippi River. According to local officials, the geyser's infrastructure has deteriorated and repairs are too costly. They do say the National Park Service has expressed some interest in acquiring the park.
Good information, Mitch.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.